if you're managing the quality of your product, then you may be aware that you can inspect your product at different stages in the manufacturing process. Right now, we're going to be talking about 4 types of inspections that take place at these different stages and how you can use them to enhance your quality control and quality management system. So let's get into it. Okay, so as we've said, there are 4 stages when you'll typically find us at the factory inspecting products for our clients. So what are they? Well, the first one is pre-production. The second is during production. The third is pre-shipment. And the fourth is container loading. Okay, and so these are 4 stages that correspond with 4 types of inspections, which we're going to cover right now. So the first one we're going to talk about is the pre-shipment inspection. Okay, and the reason we're talking about this first is because this is the most common type of inspection. The vast majority of third-party inspections, whether it's in China or India or Vietnam or elsewhere, are pre-shipment inspections. And so what is it? Well, a pre-shipment inspection happens once products are 100% complete and they are at least 80% packaged. And so that means that, as the name suggests, they're just about ready to be shipped out. So now I'd like to bring in Andy Church, the founder of Insight Quality, to talk a little bit more about this. So, Andy, why is it that so many importers today are conducting pre-shipment inspections?
Simply put, importers conduct pre-shipment inspections to ensure that what they receive is what they ordered. And the reason they're conducted at the factory is because if there's an issue that's found, it's easier for the factory to rework the product rather than conduct an inspection at a consolidation warehouse or a third-party logistics warehouse. If there's a problem found, the goods would have to be shipped back. And it also makes sense to inspect the products before they ship rather than after the products arrive in the country of importation. If there's a problem found then, it's even much more expensive to ship back to the production country or bring in outside labor to rework the products. And also, it's much more time delay.
So we've talked about pre-shipment inspections now, and I'd like to move on to talking about another type of inspection, which is the during production inspection, also known as DUPRO. Okay, so what is a DUPRO inspection? Well, that's conducted once at least 20% of your products are completed. And so it's not at the end of production, but it's actually during the production process. So, Andy, why would someone choose to inspect their products earlier while they're still in the production process as opposed to at the end of the production process?
Pre-pro or during production inspections are often conducted on new products, high dollar items, a launch of a new line of products. So they take place between 20 and 80% of production, and typically in longer production runs. Something that can be produced in 1 or 2 days, quantity wise, wouldn't warrant a during production inspection because by the time the inspection is completed, reviewed with the factory, and the client that ordered the inspection, the production run is going to be near complete, and there ain't going to be opportunities to address any issues that were found. So a during production inspection will allow the factory to address a manufacturing issue if, on a resin item, plastic item that has an excessive gate or issues with plastic, that they could adjust the runtime or trim the mold or something like that, or if the color is off on a something that's being painted or a fabric, they can catch that before all the items are cut and worst even case being sewn. So during production inspection allows for the opportunity to address issues while the item is still in production.
Okay, so now let's move on to talking about the next type of inspection, which is the pre-production inspection. Now, as the name implies, this happens before the production even begins. More specifically, it happens once materials or components have been received at the factory and they're just getting ready to start the production process. So, Andy, in what instances would it make sense for a company to inspect during pre-production?
Pre-production inspections make sense to be conducted and implemented when you're utilizing a new supplier. It's the first time they're producing products for you, a high dollar new item, a new product category to ensure that the components are of the quality and, if there's color match concerns, that the correct raw materials have been used, and it allows for the product to be reviewed and approved before uh, full production begins. So typically, a pre-production inspection is limited quantity, and there's going to be a reason why you want to conduct that. A new supplier, a new product category, a new item, change in raw components, perhaps, which would warrant testing to make sure that there wouldn't be any issues in testing to failure, perhaps, on an item. Those would be instances where a pre-production inspection would make sense.
Now that we've talked about pre-production inspections, let's move on to the fourth and final type of inspection we'll talk about today, and that is the container loading inspection. Okay, so what is the container loading inspection? Well, this occurs once the goods are totally finished and they are about to be loaded onto a container to be shipped overseas. And so, Andy, I'd like to ask you, what are the benefits of a container loading inspection? Why would you be inspecting at this stage?
The most common reason we conduct container loading inspections for clients is to ensure that the goods that they ordered are loaded into a container and sealed. So that ensures that the product isn't tampered with, that the client has a sense of ease or confidence that the goods that they ordered are going to be shipped in the container, and received by them as expected. Another reason that we conduct container inspections, not very many, but we have a couple clients specifically who they design the loading uh, uh, they provide a loading diagram to their factories of how the container should be loaded because they have different SKUs that are packaged different ways, and they want to ensure that their container utilization, if not 100%, is near 100%. And so by providing the factory a loading diagram of how the container is loaded, of the quantities of each SKU, they can minimize the number of containers they need, and have obviously a direct impact on their shipping costs. So that isn't as common, but we do those, especially for a big client that's seasonal, that has a lot of SKUs and their product is shipping at near high volume times in the shipping market.
So now we've talked about these four different types of inspections that you can conduct. And Andy, I'd just like to ask you, what advice would you give to people who are, managing their inspection program and what should they consider when they are deciding what type of inspections to conduct?
The piece of advice I'd give importers looking to conduct inspections is identify the objective, and that will allow us to help you determine whether it makes most sense to conduct a pre-production, a DUPRO, or a pre-shipment inspection, or maybe on your first order, a combination of them or all three. The second piece of advice I would give is that as you build a history of inspections, pass fail rate, the number of defects, the type of defects found, then consider implementing a skip lot program. This will allow you to reduce the number of inspections at a particular factory and maybe add inspections in other factories. So allow you to maximize your quality spend. The skip lot program is where you're not inspecting 100% of orders, but maybe every other, every third, every fourth. And this can really only be done effectively with a history of inspection data.
So, did you find this information helpful? Give us a like to show support and subscribe for more great videos about quality control. And also, if you have any questions about conducting inspections and you need help, reach out to us. We'd be happy to talk to you. And also, check out this video right over here. We think you'll enjoy it.